When the new teacher project begins an engagement with a district to work on teacher evaluation systems, how do you account for the existing collective bargaining agreements? And do you prefer to go in when when contracts are under negotiation, so you have some opportunity for flexibility?
Sure. So New Haven is one of the first places where we've worked on helping them build a new evaluation system, and so I can only really speak to that experience. But where they were in their process was that they had actually negotiated a new contract over the summer into the fall. And what that contract did, which was actually pretty interesting, was that it set up a process to get to an agreement, but didn't actually sort of set up a lot of what they were going to create for the new evaluation and development system. And so what they negotiated in their contract was that they said there was going to be a new evaluation system. It was going to roll out for next year, so it was going to happen. So that was sort of off the table. Like, we knew we were going to get to a system. It had a clear deadline, so they had to go to their board by April 15th. So there was a process in place to make progress towards, and a very clear deadline. And then it said a couple of things had to happen. It said that there had to be multiple ratings, so it couldn't be a sort of strictly binary system where you're either satisfactory or unsatisfactory. It said there's going to be at least 4 ratings to be determined what those are. It is going to look at student learning measures, standardized test scores, as one of the inputs in thinking about evaluating teachers. And then the last thing it said, just very specifically, was that they were going to look into peer review and peer validation mechanisms as one part of the overall system. So those were the only things that were laid out from the contract perspective. And then they spent the next 5 months really negotiating, okay, let's build an evaluation and development system.
That's actually an important point, too, because for impact, I mean, I think it's probably fair to say that impact wouldn't be necessarily what it is, or maybe not so quickly, if it had been part of this contract. I mean, the much talked about contract did not include at all impact. It's not, by law, it's not part of collective bargaining.
Right.
So yesterday, the DC Council unanimously approved the teacher's contract for DC. That really has nothing, it has everything and yet nothing to do with impact, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is a good question.